What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, my people? It's been a few minutes. We haven't been on the show for a couple weeks. You know, if you all been paying attention to anything I've been doing, I've actually been traveling a little bit and have not done the show in some time. But what I definitely want to make sure I do is we definitely want to make sure I keep the show consistent because sharing information is what I love to do. Helping people change their lives is what I do. So we're going to get this show kicked off today. Uh, Arguably, two of my favorite people are going to be on the show today sharing some amazing information. As always, you know, this show is about sharing information, sharing experiences, sharing what we do and how we do it. So we're gonna get started in just a few minutes. Hang tight with us, and thank y'all for tuning in today. Wherever you're watching this, make sure you like, share, subscribe, give us some, thumbs ups. Make sure you guys hang in there with us. Give us some comments. Let us know what's going on in your world. Make sure you ask us any questions that you may have. And if you're watching in the Facebook Live group or in the Facebook group, make sure you go ahead and click on that link so we can see who you are when you make a comment so we know how to respond and, help you out the best way we can. So without further ado, I want to bring to you Kimberly and Candace Briggs. They'll tell you, I always get them mixed up. They my sisters, so they're okay with it sometimes. I hope I don't get in trouble for mixing the names up. And I think they be stalking me, y'all. We're gonna talk about that. So hang around. I'm gonna tell you what they be stalking me. Kimberly. How y'all doing today? Y'all didn't hear me tell them.
Doing good. How are you?
Telling folks y'all be stalking me, did y'all?
Yeah, right. Don't be telling those lies. Don't do it. We did see yesterday.
Hey, but I love it though. I love it. Listen, y'all make me help me stay aware of what I'm doing, and it's very positive. So a couple different times they sent me pictures of my truck being somewhere. And I'm like, okay, it's people paying attention to, actually me with the rap that I did on the car and all that, So thank y'all for making me believe that I'm relevant in some sense or the other.
At least in our neighborhood.
Right. We live right in the same neighborhood, so it's easy to catch me. But listen, ladies, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. As I was telling the folks, it's been a little while since I've been on the show, been traveling, doing some different things. But I want to definitely thank you all for taking time out of your day today to share with the audience of people that are going to be joining us some of the amazing things that you got going on. See, I'll be kind of stalking y'all a little bit. I told you I watch the people that's making some major moves, and I'm like, man, y'all have been doing some major stuff. Y'all, what was the last time y'all were on the show?
So funny, strangely enough, it was 2 years ago. It was right before COVID, and the weather was exactly the same as it is. So if we ever do a show moving forward, if it's not raining, we can't do it.
Right. You have to make sure all the stars are aligned.
Exactly. It has to be an overcast, cloudy, raining. All of that has to come together because this is the exact weather of when we did the show. It was February 2020.
Wow. Amazing. So let's tell the folks individually who you are, who each of you are, and then collectively who you are as well.
Absolutely. So since Glenn can't get us separated, we're not sisters.
Right. You're my sisters. You're my sisters.
We're related, but through marriage. But I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Candace.
All
right. And B2 Property Solutions. Tell us a little bit about that.
So B2 Property Solutions, we started investing in real estate in 2016, Father's Day weekend 2016. And I actually started, it's kind of crazy, watching HGTV. Like I was like all I watched, and I was like, yo, they can do this in 30 minutes, then certainly anybody can do this, right?
Story of my lives, right?
You realize it's not 30 minutes. It's not as quick as they make it seem. But I fell in love with it, right? So at the end of the day, we invested in some education, got educated on how the process works, how to rehab a house, how to start your rental portfolio, and just all the elements of real estate investing. And then basically from there, we've purchased properties. It hasn't always been an easy ride, but it's been a worthwhile ride. And we're still pushing, still going, and still looking forward to accelerating as fast as we can and to try to tap into the new construction world here soon. So something new that is exciting. So yeah, it's a little B2 history.
And like just to add to what Candace said, because we're always here to like encourage people, educate people, and motivate people. So one of my things is Candace and I decided to jump out onto this new adventure in our lives. Father's Day weekend 2016. We purchased our first property that same year in October. I remember clearly, it was during Halloween. And at that time, it was like all systems go, all the stars aligned, everything was ready to roll. And we were like, you know what, let's buy the block. Everybody was saying Glenn's thing now is buy the block. So 2 months later, we purchased our second property on that same street. Southwest Atlanta, before Southwest Atlanta in the West End looked the way that it looks now.
And just to emphasize, we sold our first property for $165 on Lockwood. That same property right now is well over $350.
Wow.
And that was like a year later, we were like, it started to increase. We were like, man, maybe we should have held on, but that was our first one. So we didn't know what we didn't know, right? But
even with that, those two properties on the same street, right across from each other, we spent less than $50,000 for purchase price for those houses. So if anybody knows anything about that area off of Avon Avenue in that West Indy area, Sylvan Hills, Venetian Hills, there ain't nothing over there for $50,000 anymore. So that just goes to show when we got into it. So yeah, moving forward, like Candace said, we started in 2016. We started with those two. Those were two renovations. Those were both fix and flips. Those were more learning experiences than bank account experiences. So we won't pretend and sugarcoat that your first rehab, you're going to hit the six figures, because some people do. And this market has proved differently for some of our new investors. But historically, from what we've learned, everything isn't necessarily about the dollars. It's definitely about learning. And you once you get in it, your education and everything that you read and YouTube University and your mentors and your coaches are all beneficial. But once you get into a project, that's when the learning really begins.
Absolutely. Candace mentioned earlier something about it being not easy. Like, how is it not? If you watch it on TV and it happens in 30 minutes, why is it not easy? Like, everybody can do this, right?
Bro. Listen, the part they don't tell you is that they've been working on it for several months.
Oh, yeah.
When they're filming it, it's just, this 30 seconds. Okay, we started here. Okay, boom, boom. We're showing this. Nah, they started months ago, and that's the part that they don't talk about, and the hiccups that they don't talk about that they hit. There's a hiccup on every job, right? Like everything, absolutely. Even the cosmetic rehabs don't prove to be a straightforward. Like, I think out of all the houses that we flipped, we might have had like one or two that we were in and out in like 3 weeks. And that's rare, right? And so you kind of go into it knowing that there will be hiccups. It's all about how you handle them and how you get in and out as quickly as possible. That helps maximize. That helps maximize your profits and your time. For sure.
Definitely. What I love about those shows is at the end when they show you the numbers.
Yeah.
And they say this was what we got it for, and this is what the rehab budget, and this is what we sold it for. They don't say nothing about their holding costs. They don't say nothing about their taxes. They don't say nothing about
just keep going.
All the things. The agent's fees. They don't tell you nothing about the agent's fees because you got to pay somebody to sell it. So those numbers are never accounted for. That's what gives the person the misrepresentation that I can make $100,000 on this flip. But they don't tell you that you got to subtract 50% of that almost.
Oh, yeah,
exactly. And that's what we don't want to do. Like, we never want to put that false persona out there. Like, this is what we bought it for. Like, we have lenders. We have people that we have to pay back. Like, we have lenders, like you said, taxes. We have agents. Well, we have the other agent, but now we
Right.
have an in-house agent. But prior to Kimberly getting her license, like we were paying 6% to both sides, you know, like
Right.
we want to make sure that we're authentic in everything that we do and the numbers that we share, so that people that want to enter this realm understand that it's not like what the TV show says. This is so different. So yeah, we definitely want to stay authentic and share that and share the wins and share the losses. Because I mean, we've had our share of losses for sure, but but nevertheless, it's still keep pushing, keep going forward, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple questions. Why in the world did y'all get into this business? And why in the world, with all the trouble you've had, do you stay in this business?
That's a good question. When I get the answer, we'll get back to you when we figure it out.
Not even so for me, it's easy. This is my passion, right? So this is when I bought my first house, my personal house in 2010. It was a situation where I was going to see all these different houses, and I was like, I went in looking like, okay, maybe I could live here. But then it was like, well, if they change this or if they do that, then yeah, I would, we'll move in with no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, wait, something more to this than just looking for a place to buy my next, buy my house or whatever. And so from then it just became literally like a passion. And it is my passion. So, and helping other people that want to get into this industry and show them the right way to do things has become also, again, of my passion.
And that's amazing. You have to, and the thing about anything that we do, like I was actually listening to some gentlemen on Instagram last night, and the guy was talking about the things that he does. And, sometimes it gets challenging and this, that, and the other. And he was asking questions about what he can do to go to the next step. And the one question I always ask somebody is why? Like, what is your why for basically doing anything that you do, especially something like this?
Right.
Because if it gets hard, if you're only in it for the money,
oh yeah,
you out.
You're out.
You're out.
There's so many different, like I never want to. There's cliche terms that people use that you may hear, but sometimes I feel like if those cliche terms resonate with you or speak to you, then that's your answer. Like I like to say, a part of our why is our family, the usual generational wealth, freedom. But it really is doing something different that our families did not have the opportunity to do. Like we both came from middle-class families. Nobody, fortunately, we didn't live below the poverty level or anything like that. But my parents were, regular 9 to 5, so to speak, so we had, a house, car, things like that, didn't have a need for anything. But middle class, we talked about finances as far as it came to making sure your bills are paid, to have a credit score. And so like most people in the African-American community, you're thinking, what did your grandma tell you? Go to school, baby, get your job and retire. That's very standard. So when Candace and I realized, like, I don't think that's necessarily what I want my future to look like. So then when we started talking, well, what does your future look like? So if your future looks like, it's nothing wrong with, I just left my 17-year career working for state government. I just left it in November. So I'm still getting used to not really being able to say, oh, this is my boss, or being able to actually answer to someone in HR. Like I'm my own HR. Who you gonna call? So
right.
But so if that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with that. But whatever your thing is, do it to the best of your ability and let that be your thing. But when Candace and I both decided, like both of our families at some point in time did some sort of entrepreneurship. Like when we first told my mom about this, my mom has her one story or a couple of stories. Oh, we bought a mobile home when you were a kid and we got a tenant. And so my parents wanted to get into the rental space. And they just didn't, when things didn't work out and their tenant wouldn't move and they had to evict them and all that type of stuff, it wasn't something that they continued to pursue. Candace's mom had very good financial literacy. So she spoke to them a lot about what finances mean, how to get ahead, make sure you have, your 401k and taxes and things like that. So when we got into how does our future look for us? That's when real estate really came to light. Because I personally was looking at Candace when she wanted to buy a house. I was like, why would you do that? I live in this nice apartment. Every month they come and change the air filter. When my sink gets clogged up, I call the maintenance man. When the air conditioner don't work, I call the maintenance man. I don't have to cut the grass. I don't have to prune the trees. I don't have to even exterminate for bugs or nothing.
Right.
So when Candace was like, well, I'm gonna buy a house, and then I started thinking like, wait, you gotta like change your own air filters? Like if the garbage disposal gets clogged up, you gotta do that yourself. I was not interested in any of that. But when she explained it to me from a financial benefit, then I understood. And she was really good with, I used to tell her all the time, like, you should be a salesman. Like, I never thought that she should be a real estate agent. I used to always tell her she needed to be a car salesman because I feel like Candace could sell you water in the desert. Like, she is. So she's a master negotiator now, which she'll tell you about later. But when it's kind of like when we put those two passions together, that is what got us into it, and that's what has kept us going. When I am feeling like we should fire that contractor, Candace would be like, hold on a second, what benefit is he bringing to the business? Or when we have new ideas, like our partnership is really good, and that's what has kept us going, outside of the fact that, of course, we want to leave a legacy. But outside of leaving a legacy for your future, we want to live good now. Like, we want to be happy now. I mean, we want to go on vacation, but even outside of vacation, I told Candace the other day, like, I really just want to like binge watch Netflix and take bubble baths. Like, how do I do that? Can you make that happen for me?
Those are goals. Those are goals.
Those are goals.
Right.
Those are goals. That's something that you can shoot for now. Listen, you got to work towards something like that. Even if that is your ultimate goal, you know, of course, I'm sure y'all goals are much bigger than that. But even if that's something that people would shoot for, you have to have something that you prepare for, you know, prepare yourself for, so that you can have those types of things. I'm the same way. I'm like, I just want to travel. I don't really want to work. You know, I want to travel. You know, but my wife, she loves her job, so we don't get a chance to go to many places. I mean, I do, but she stays home.
Right.
So.
I'll travel with you. Where we going?
Right.
Where we going? Let me know where we going.
Yes. And listen, speaking of that, I'm going to take you up on that because you're supposed to be going to Detroit with me.
Man,
we never made that happen.
Glenn, I literally was just talking about this the other day. I said, do you realize it was 2 years ago at this show, you were going to Detroit like that following week, and you were like, oh, I bought my tickets at the airport. And I told Candace then, I said, why don't you go? Why don't you go? I mean, I was like, take your credit card down there to the airport, like Glenn said. Go to the kiosk. And I said, look at him 2 years later. He about to buy the city.
Don't tell nobody.
No, I'm going with you, Glenn. For real. I'm going.
But listen, the event, I definitely got to plug the event for March 26th. I'm heading back next Thursday. I just got back. What's today? See, traveling so much, I get lost.
Monday.
Today is Wednesday, of course.
No, I'm saying he got back Monday.
I got back Monday. And I was there last week raffling a house with a partner of mine. And for those of you that are watching, if you're in the area, go check out the house again this week. He's going to be there this week on Saturday. And the house is I'm going to mess this address up. 26581 Ross Street. I'll put the flyer up. You'll see it again. But then on March 26th, we're doing the Buy Back the Block Inkster program again, where we're teaching people in the city how to invest in their neighborhoods. One of the things that I said that I was actually on a panel with Marquell Russell, one of my mentors, and somebody talked about gentrification. Like, people talk about gentrification and pushing people out of the neighborhoods. And I said the biggest thing that happens with gentrification is that the people that are in the neighborhoods are not educated on how they can take advantage of investing in the neighborhood before somebody else comes to push them out.
Absolutely.
So I got, I was able to connect with the mayor of the city of Inkster in Michigan to talk to him about how to help the people in the neighborhoods gentrify their own neighborhoods before somebody else comes to push them out. They're already invested in it. That's what we're doing in the city of Inkster, March 26th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's my plug right there.
Right.
So you
Commercial.
will be on the plane coming to Detroit, Candace. Come on and go with me so you can see what's going on there. And it's going to be opportunities for even people outside of the city. Now, of course, we want the people in the city to take advantage, but even for investors that are in a good place, you can take advantage of helping the people in the city to, invest in the city.
That's what's up. I definitely want in for sure.
But I'm excited to talk about how you all, the partnership that you all have and just the synergy that you all have. Even speaking about what each of you has, that creates the balance, with Kimberly being the agent and you being the negotiator. I want to get a little bit more into the negotiator part first. We were talking, and this was the part that I didn't get permission to talk about, but I'm gonna throw some little pieces out there. You tell me if you want to go into it. Now I know how you became, or you're becoming, a really good negotiator. The program that you sent me the information on, I'm definitely going to check it out. Is it okay to talk about that?
Most definitely. Let's do it.
Okay. So tell the folks what it is that you're involved in and how it's helping you to become a better negotiator.
Absolutely. So I recently became certified as a NLP practitioner. And so what that is, everybody's like, what's NLP? So it's neuro-linguistic programming. So if you break that down, so it's your mindset and everything, because we know everything starts in the mind, right? So if our mindset if it's not right, then everything else follows, basically. The linguistic portion is our language. So the words that we use, the posture that we use in our words, and then the programming. So basically all of the outcomes and everything that you want to happen, it happens from your programming. So as we grow up, let me back up. So as we grow up, programs are being installed from birth, right? So, hey, go to school, do X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Don't do this. Don't touch the hot stove. Like programming,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Some things are great. Some things are good. Some things we are still using well into our 40, like we're still using, but some things create limiting decisions. Some things create negative beliefs about self, and just things that are no longer serving us. So what we do is we take that information and say, this is no longer serving me. So how can I reframe that? How can I change that programming to now start serving me? And so basically with that, just NLP just helps with that programming, helps with the communication, helps with the ability to meet someone and understand where they are and meet them at their point or where they are. And it's from their perspective of the world, right? And it's so interesting. When I was a kid, my mom always used to say, you have to meet people where they are. And as a kid, I'm like, what does that mean? Like, meet people where they are.
Like, where they at? Do I got to go over there?
Right. But now as an adult, and I'm learning what I just passed and learned or whatever, it's just like, I get it now. Like, meet people where they are. Like, I don't know. Like, people can be in different value levels. And I'm going to go high chunk there, but different value levels. And it's okay. Like, you can be, say, value level 4, where it's all about corporation, 9 to 5, this, that, and the other. And then I'm in value level 5, and it's like entrepreneur life. But it's okay that I can meet you there in your value level 4, and I'm able to communicate with you and talk to you and still help you to achieve your goal, if it is to become an entrepreneur, and how you do that basically with your programming.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
So in your negotiating, and you're having a conversation with a seller, for example, and meeting them where they are, can you give us like a simple example of where it is to meet, maybe a seller where they are, and how it would help with your negotiating?
Sure. Kim, want to say something real quick?
Right. So I was just chiming in on the NLP stuff because Candace and I both have taken. So NLP has different levels of practitioner training. Candace has already completed the master's level. I have taken basically like the one that we sent you that we are encouraging you to participate in. That's like the beginner intro level, right? So when it comes to how NLP helps you communicate, it assists with communication and it assists with So with your communication, you're a better negotiator. And it's not just for real estate. It's become a real estate. A lot of the heavy hitters in the Atlanta market have taken NLP, so it's become a more real estate thing in Atlanta. But as Candace has traveled nationwide, it's just more service industry, or anytime you have a client or a customer, different people are in there with different beauticians, nail technicians, people who have other construction companies. Some people are already like life coaches, mindset coaches, things like that. Because what it has helped you do is, how do you view the world? How does the other person view the world? And can you get in there and basically look at them from a mirror? How can I better understand you? So, hey, Mr. John, I heard, what I'm saying, are you interested in an offer on your house? What does that look like for you? So from John is looking at me and Candace, here's another investor knocking on my door or coming to my house. However, if we've done any kind of research on Mr. John, even if it's just the neighborhood, even if it's just like, so you're in a top rated school district, but it might be an elderly man. So you wouldn't go to that person's house and be like, we know this is a great school district. Yeah, well, he don't have any kids anymore. So that's not something. So when it comes to what NLP has assisted, at least me on the beginner level, so to speak, and Candace on the master level, like Candace was already a good negotiator, but now her view of their world, she's able to anticipate that and respond to that more directly. So
it's more from a beginning call, right? So from the first pickup of the phone, cold calling, which we
or door knock,
I don't door knock. So cold calling, you can door knock if that's your thing. By all means, knock on doors. But cold calling is more of a, the entry, like the conversation, right? So the icebreaker type conversation, and just listening to some of the words being used, it allows me to understand what's important for them a little faster, right? So then I kind of drill in on using those same language that they use. So if they say, oh, I have grandkids and what's important is I leave money for them. Okay, so I'm going to use the same wording that they use when I'm speaking and regurgitating in any conversation back to them. And then that will allow rapport to be built a little faster. And so that allows them to feel more comfortable and more like, oh, okay, she's not just a regular, not just another investor. Just all they want is my money, or all they want is my house, or whatever. Then I can connect with them. And again, we know rapport is everything in this business, right?
Absolutely.
And so when you tap into that rapport, it's like, okay, yep. What do I sign? So before they go, they're like, okay, yep, the appointment's set. We're at their house. We're walking through. So, and we're just constantly building on that rapport and the building blocks of that. So yeah, it allows me.
I want to talk about the value of that. And that's one of the things that I want to make sure people don't miss. Now, of course, I've never gone to a class for that, and I'm sure I would greatly benefit from attending a class like that. One of the things that helped me, one of the books that I read that helped me significantly to understand meeting people where they are and having a conversation and, having empathy and things like that, and relating and building rapport, was a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that book I'm talking about, it changed my perspective on relationships altogether, and having conversations and being a real conversationalist. I never knew what that was before.
The thing.
But the thing is, these are things that you and I, like, you invested in getting to learn that, right? I had to learn that over 24 years of doing the real estate business. And when someone asks the question, dare I say, can I pick your brain? And they don't realize, most people don't realize what you and I have invested in getting to the point of being able to do what we do. And it's not something that you can pick someone's brain in 30 minutes and think you're going to figure it all out. You see what I mean? So that's where investing in a coach, investing in a mentor comes into play, and respecting the value of what they've learned to do over time, or even what they've invested in to be able to learn how to do it in even a short amount of time. So I just want to make sure I pointed that out, because I know something like that, when it transforms the way you all have, looked at doing real estate investing, I mean, as you mentioned, many of the people, and I've seen this, many of the people in Atlanta who are doing very well in real estate investing have gone through the NLP program. And I'm sure it's changed the way they look at how they do negotiation, how they build rapport, how they build relationships. And that's an investment that they made that now becomes invaluable to them, to you all. Like, you probably paid a price for it initially, but it continues to pay you over and over and over and over again for what you've learned and what you put into practice. So again, I'm certainly going to be taking a look at that class. I think there's something, it's coming up in May. There's one happening in May.
Correct. The Atlanta one is in May, May 25th.
Okay.
The first one is a 7 consecutive days, pretty much all day. And it's well worth it. It's well worth it.
And what I want you to do is, I want you to put your link in the chat when we get done here to make sure people take advantage of, signing up for that.
Because Candace is probably being modest, but
I'm sure. Listen, let me just say this. Let me say this. I remember Candace when we were first talking about getting on the show. I think she was for like 6 months.
Yeah,
like, I'm shy. I can't be on the show. And the first show y'all came on, y'all both killed it. But she came out of the shell, and she's still being a little modest now. So tell us about it, Kim. Tell us the real deal.
So I'll be her commercial break. So if anybody, the other piece to NLP, it is about learning communication and negotiation, but it's also about learning you, connecting with yourself, responding to things in the outside world from your unconscious level without thinking about it. When somebody asks you a question, why is that a problem for you? Why does that matter to you? Don't go into your head. What's coming up at the top of what's coming up immediately?
It's quick.
So what NLP helps you do is listen to that voice, what comes up immediately, get out of your own way. Because like I said, it's not just for people in real estate. What I liked about it is when I took that class, there were people who had just got out of college. There were people who were 79 years old. There were people who had, I just retired and I just started my window business.
Right.
Different levels of life, different levels of experience, but you're learning to get out of your own way. What is holding you back? If you're in that middle level, what's going to take, if you're an entrepreneur and you've been doing this, you made a lot of money and you feel like you've hit the plateau, how do you get over that plateau? It might be you, the person what's holding you back might be looking in the mirror. And how do you move from that? It could be something, when I went through it, it was stuff that was coming up for me that I was like, when did I even care about that? But I was letting my unconscious answer. And so anybody who's interested, what I feel like gets in people's way is when you hear 7 days, dear God, what can you do for 7 days? You can do a lot for 7 days. You can eat a bunch of junk. You can go to football games. You can invest in yourself. So you take 7 days out of 365 days. What you want to do with that time? These 7 days, and what's so crazy is it don't even feel like 7 days. Like you'll be on day 4 and you'll be like, dang, I ain't gonna see y'all but 3 more days. Like you want to be there. Like the 7 days goes by so fast, but I just wanted to plug that in because I've told people about it who met me later that were even my former coworkers and stuff like that. And they're like, dang, 7 days off work. I'm like, you've been working at that job for how many years? They owe you in 7 days. You have 365 days. There's 30 days just in May. How many days in May? 30 or 31. You got 7 little days that it will, I don't want to sound like a generic commercial, but it will change your life. So if you're
what it is.
like Candace will have her link in the chat.
I'll definitely put it.
Feel free to reach out to her because I mean, I wouldn't be advocating. I don't even go. I'm not that pushy of a salesperson. I'm like, do what you want. But but for this one, I feel really passionate about it. And Candace has done so much work. And for anybody who knows us, knows that if I let Candace go to Vegas of all places for 16 damn days, y'all know it must have been something serious because
hey, listen.
Who lets her go to Vegas for 2 weeks?
I saw that. I have my opinions. I said, I ain't gonna speak on that.
Hold on.
Saturday business.
Hold on, Glenn. You're on my side, buddy. You're on my side.
Let me stay out of their business.
Right. Family business. Right. Exactly. Keep it in the family, Glenn. Keep it in the family.
But listen, what I picked up from that, the most important thing I picked up there is that I know that you all are a dynamic duo. I know you are an awesome team. And if it meant for you to have to go and be away for that amount of time, it was something certainly involved on the other side of that was going to be very valuable for both of y'all. You know, and that's like, even speaking with me and my wife, like, you know, I have to be gone 5, 6, 7 days at a time. You know, and it's like, you know, listen, you know what's going to happen. You know, when we get back, we going to Sizzler.
You already know.
Okay.
You already
Exactly.
Old school.
Hey, listen, the time investment is what it takes sometime as well. I want to get into we talked about the negotiating part, and I also want to talk about the combination of being the negotiator and also you being a realtor, Kim. Somebody just asked a few questions, though. I want to see if we can get into them. And the person who asked these questions, I don't know who you are because you didn't click the link so that we can see your name. I do want to shout out a few people that have joined us, though. Shout out to Ron Dimmock and LaShawn Nicole. Thank you for joining us. Someone asked the question. This is an interesting question. I love it when people ask this question. And I'm gonna let the NLP people answer this question because I'm gonna be like you, Kim. Be like, I'm gonna let you do what you want to do. Can I begin investing in real estate with no money?
But before Candace answers, I want you to do your all about the Benjamins response.
Give it to me.
What's
Friday?
Friday, wrong movie.
Oh,
She talking about when Debo said, "You want some of this too, old man?" No. Yeah. So
simple answer, no.
When Debo, this too, old
Well,
man?
let me say this. I'll answer that question this way.
Yeah.
Is yes, you can.
You can. Yeah.
In the simplest way, yes, you can start with no money.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge between getting from the no money part and the actually closing the deal part is that you're going to spend money if you either A, don't know what you're doing, and you'll probably spend more money, B, once you figure out what you're doing. Right. You're going to spend a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. You're probably going to make expensive mistakes if you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you understand what you're doing, you'll be intentional about the investment that you make in trying to do real estate with no money.
Well, I would like to dig a little deeper and ask, invest how? So there's multiple ways to invest into real estate. So the question, can you invest in real estate with no money? What are we talking? Are we talking starting off wholesaling? Are we talking renovating houses? Are we talking about rental? Like, what are we talking about? Or what's the specific question to support? Can we start in real estate with no money? Like, it's
because I think when people typically ask that question, the question is from lack of education and misinformation out there on the internet. Because people are like, you can buy a house with zero down. Okay, but what do you want to do exactly with the house that costs zero? Do you want a house that costs zero? What does a house that costs zero really look like? Do you think that houses just living out there costing zero that have no taxes? Do you think that, I mean, you're gonna have to pay something. So can you start with absolutely zero? No, but because I feel like when people ask me that, I'm like, I want you to spend some money on something. Even if you're driving for dollars, you paid for gas. If you
$4.50 a gallon,
right, you can afford to drive for dollars right now.
Right.
You gotta search through Google. But even like when I tell people, I'm like, hey, you want to get out there, you want to just start rubbing elbows, mixing and mingling. Now that COVID has calmed down, some networking events are still out there. You still need to spend, even if you go to Kinko, can you print you out some business cards? And if you go to a networking event, I mean, you can buy one drink and just carry it for the whole night just to look cool. But you got to spend $5 on the drink. You got to have some kind of business cards. So I feel like it's false information, in my opinion, when people say, I spent $0 to start my real estate investment company, because you at least paid for the gas in your car. Even if you printed your cards out at home, you bought paper, you used electricity. Even if you used the internet, you paid for your cell phone. Like, there's some sort of investment that you made to start a business. You didn't just pop up like Olivia watches these little shows where things poof in the air. You didn't do that.
Not reality.
You know, I have to go and go from a biblical perspective. I use a scripture that says, "I dare not offer God that cost me nothing."
That's right.
Would you want to be in something that actually you did not have to invest anything in? Then what is the value of it on the other side?
Right.
That's my sermon for my 30-second sermon.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Always here.
Always
Always here.
Always welcome.
Always here for the 30-second sermon.
Always welcome.
All right, we got a couple more real quick, and then I want to definitely get to you, Kim. This person says, is real estate investing easier if I already own property?
So I think the word easier is subjective. Is it easier as far as is it a house that you want to renovate and become a rental? Is it a property that you were inherited? I guess it goes different ways. I won't say easier, but it can be different. Like I talked to investors. I even talked to some agents who were like, I talked to an agent recently. She has technically done 2 fix and flips, but she has never worked with a lender because both of her renovations were houses that were already in her family. And they renovated them and they sold one, they renovated another, and they kept the other one as a rental. So she still invested in real estate, but she owned the property already, but it was an inheritance property. So I wouldn't say easier. I would say it was a different avenue. You might not, if you already own the property, like I said, like an inherited property that your family owns outright, you don't have a mortgage. So everything is profit. So that's different than when I call you and say, this house is on the market and you need to get a hard money lender or a private lender. And now you have a different level of, you're more concerned about your interest rate and your draws and your how many points it's going to take and stuff like that. So easier, subjective, different. Yeah. That would be my thoughts.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And the only thing that I would, even say to that is exactly what you said. I mean, it's relative, it's subjective. Is like there's not really a whole lot of substance to the question. I mean, if you ask me, no, it's not really easier if you haven't had the experiences. I say anything that hasn't punched you in the face is, everybody but what Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Things change a little bit.
Right. So no is the simple answer. Yeah, just like you said, it's subjective. And one last question we have here from Facebook user Anonymous. I don't know who it is again. How should one determine the best real estate investment strategy for them?
So I think it's important to realize your ultimate goal. So if it's a situation where you want what I call long-term money, so it's like you want to build a rental portfolio. If it's like, okay, I work now for a 9-to-5, but I want to retire with and be able to acquire a certain amount of money every month. And so, so then you need to go into your rental portfolio to start building that, in my opinion. I think to that question, it's important to really dig down and dig deep to understand what your ultimate goal is. And then from there, you can pick out your avenue and which way to go. If it's money right now, you need money right now. So kind of like the wholesaling, the flipping is easy. I'm sorry. Quicker than rental money is what I'm saying. So it depends on what your end goal is, I guess I would say.
What would you say to that, Kim?
Yeah,
how can one determine their best real estate investment strategy?
Yeah, what's your same thing? Like, what's your end goal? What's your end goal? But then also, what's your comfort level? I've worked with investors before who literally are scared of doing a rehab. Like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm not ready for that. And even after I talk to them, even pre-NLP and post-NLP, when I talk to them about like what's in the way, what's coming up for you with the fix and flip, wholesaling is just that's where I feel comfortable. And if you want to stay there, that's cool. some people then also are like I work with investors from the realtor perspective who they only want passive income. They don't want to fix and flip nothing. They don't want nobody to call them for nothing. They got, here's my $200,000. Find me a house, put me some tenants in it, and tell me where to pick up my rent every month.
Right.
So it depends on your exit strategy is dependent on what you feel like you need right here and right now. Like Candace said, I feel like wholesaling really ain't all that quick in my opinion. Sometimes it still takes time, but it's quicker than a fix and flip. But then rental income, it's always there. Like there are some months where I'm like, if it wasn't for these tenants paying on time, thank God we were not impacted by COVID. I mean, that's literally passive income. And then once you pay your properties off and you have no mortgage, that's straight cash flow. Like it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. So you made a point, which actually leads us into what I want to talk about, you being an agent. You made a point. You said you work with investors that, ABC, you don't want to do certain things. And I know that that's a niche of yours, one of the things that you're doing right now. How is being an agent, how does that help with you working with investors?
Oh, I mean, that has become my niche because a couple of reasons. When Candace and I first started out, we followed all the rules, read all the books. Everybody said, go out there, get you an agent on your team, get you several agents on your team, get you an agent that is investor friendly. Yes. So it took us, we have worked with great agents over the years. I mean, really, really shout out to all of our agents that have been on our team that are like family to us now. But having done my own fix and flips, it's literally like I have on a different set of glasses. Like my investor lens is totally different. And I feel like my experience is invaluable to anybody who's an investor, not just because I feel comfortable putting in an offer $20,000, $50,000 less than asking. That doesn't bother me. I don't care. Putting in multiple offers, feeling confident and saying like, this is where my client is. Let me know what y'all can do. And then on the other piece, the reason that has become my niche is because when you're getting ready to do your fix and flip, I mean, of course, it's as my client, it's whatever you want to do. I'm all here for it. But my investor lens, a lot of times people have asked me more so for consultation. Before I even start on the rehab, Kimberly, I'm going to let you list it, but do you think I should do A, B, and C? And all I'm saying is from my experience, this is what I would do. From my experience, this is what I wouldn't do. Based on my experience with contractors, this is what I would pay. This is what I wouldn't pay. And it's not necessarily as a mentor, but thank God, Candace and I had mentors when we first started for even small stuff like the bid. I've had contractors give crazy numbers for a hot water heater. And when you're a new real estate investor and you're doing your first fix and flip, you're like, well, I need a new hot water heater. I'll pay whatever. But if I'm your agent, I'm gonna be like, hold on. No, that's no. Too much. Yeah. Like, what did he get the hot water heater like from Jesus? So my
is that water something coming out of there that you can walk on?
Right, the holy
water. Right. So yeah, like all of my clients have. I have retail clients. It's interesting because what has become my niche in a little over a year that I've had my license has been investors and people relocating to Atlanta or relocating out of Atlanta. I have yet to sell to someone from Atlanta staying in Atlanta. Everybody that I have helped buy a house has moving into Atlanta. Now I'm working with a family who's moving out of Atlanta. Everybody else has been investors. And so my passion though is the investors because I don't want y'all out there, making a bad reputation for the rest of us.
Yes. That's what we shoot for. And that's, again, I want to emphasize this, for the people that are watching, like that's the reason why I have such a passion for educating people and sharing this information, again, having guests on like you all that are knowledgeable so that people can get an idea, a real life real estate investing, idea of how things happen in the business. So they don't make it bad for the rest of us. Right. I mean, because there's so many different ways to do things, but there's only a few right ways but a whole lot of wrong ways.
Right.
You know, and we got to continue to ring the bell on those few right ways to do it, so we can stay in business.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's why we've connected so well together, because one of Candace and I's both passion are, like you said, helping people. Like, if people don't know, my background is in psychology. I worked in mental health field for 17 years. So obviously I was in a service industry. So I'm a serving person. That's what fuels my fire every day. How can I help people? That's what actually took me so long to even pull the trigger on real estate, because I went to school for so many years to get a master's degree to work at the level that I was working. I could not wrap my mind around leaving that to go into real estate, not minimizing it, but I can do this with a high school diploma, not 8 years of a master's degree. So, but what the aha moment that I tell people, and the aha moment that I have, is when I realized what drives my passion is giving to others, and how I can still give in this industry. Game changer. Like, I was done. And Candace supports me 100% when I want to work with women of color, when I want to work with just women investors, moms, single moms, moms with 10 kids. It doesn't really matter. Like, when Candace and I connect and pour into other people, that's what fuels our fire. And we believe in the law of attraction. So we believe in, when we put it out there, it's coming back to us tenfold. So even if it's a situation, now I know my value, so don't get it twisted, but we will give you something, because I know we're going to get it back in some capacity. So it's not a thing where, like what Glenn said, like, we do very few pick your brain lunches. Right. I mean, I love a good meal, and I am a wine drinker. However, we'll only do that so many times before there has to be another value exchange. You know what I'm saying? Because Absolutely. We poured so much into our education. People would, when I tell my friends and family, I usually leave out numbers, but when we tell people how much monetary exchange we have placed on education, mentorships, coaches, teachers, classes, conferences, you would really be like shocked. On top of the fact that we still were working, we still have a 4-year-old, we still are sisters, mothers, aunts. I mean, dealing with all the other hats that we wear, and still we're able to do everything that we do. So, I mean, it's always like, people are astonished sometimes at like how much we give versus how much they might see like we get back in return.
I don't want people to miss, what you said, though. There is an advantage to having a psychology degree working in real estate as well.
Right.
Listen, that's probably where we should start.
Right.
You should be required to have a psychology degree to work in real estate.
Take some classes. Take at least an intro to psychology.
Absolutely. We have a Facebook user again that says, Kimberly is the best and gives great insight for investors like myself when making offers and listing. Very valuable, very invaluable to have a realtor, just giving kudos when it's due.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely. It would help if we knew who that was.
I probably know who it is. But I think I have several investor clients that I try to let everybody know that I'll be on. I have so many, Candace and I are in so many different Facebook groups, business Facebook groups, mom Facebook groups. And the reason that we wanted to make sure we did this call here, and even just letting people know, is because, like you said, how many people every day ask, what y'all do again? Tell me about that business. I mean, people, I love when Candace's cousins and stuff called, like, y'all still houses.
Like, yeah, guys, we're still doing it.
Yeah,
still doing it, guys. Nina
Jefferson.
Yeah.
She's the one that had the last comment.
And then too, I want to say, like, with all that you all do, and you said something else as well, and having, being a parent of a 4-year-old, how do you do all of what you do and manage that with family?
Just take her with us.
She really like 14.
Just take her with us,
Well, listen, I get that part. Look, I got a 5-year-old. He's like 15 too.
Yeah. Like these kids, especially these COVID kids, man, they came out of COVID.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things that that, again, when we invested in the coach, taught us about that good balance, time blocking, some things that Candace shared with me when she got back from her master practitioner training, prioritizing, but a different kind of prioritizing. Prioritizing isn't based on what you like. You know, if y'all haven't read that book, Eat the Frog, you should read that as well.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Because, man, that, go ahead.
I gotta say, reading that book, I was kind of upset at first. I
Eat the Frog.
Right.
It wasn't comfortable at all, but that's what you grew from it, though. But you grew from it, though.
Absolutely. I probably need to read it again. But reading it at first, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want to just do one thing.
Man,
well, it's tough. Doing what we should do first. But I think it's very helpful in that we just make it a point to let her know that our child Olivia, know that this is what your parents do. And she'll even say, are we going to go look at houses? Are we going to go look at houses? I want to go look at houses. Like, so she understands. And we just explain it to her, like why we're doing what we're doing and explaining the ropes now. So when she gets a little older, if she has an interest, it's easy for her just to slide right into it. And just I think it's just easier because we're transparent with her what's going on in the process of everything. And it doesn't feel like either we're not giving her the time or we're taking time away from her to do this because, again, she asked us, hey, can we go look at some houses? Are we going to look at houses? So she knows that it's an important thing for the family and it's nothing that we're not taking away from her. But we're also pouring still into her. So it makes it a little bit easier.
My son says, I'm a real life real estate investor.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, and
that's so cute. That's so cute. That is awesome.
Okay.
And you know what, to add to what Candace said,
awesome.
What I think is important, and when it comes to the balance, I have to remind myself of this because I am definitely probably from high school on to now, an overachiever when it comes to things. I mean, like my mom was very vocal in helping me get to that next level. What you want to do? I made good grades. I played sports. I played instrument. I played in the band, all that type of stuff. And so now what I have to you have to allow yourself some grace and some rest. You cannot do it all. Candace went to Vegas, random. Candace has real quick plug. Candace has wanted to go see UFC fight. If y'all like that little violent sports, she likes UFC.
Love it. Love it.
Has it been, I know, it's so violent. I love it. 2 weeks ago. Candace has been going for the business, as a spouse, as a mother. And I'm like, she was like, they're going to be in Vegas. Okay. To me, I'm like, what are we talking about? What they got to do with you? They're going to be in Vegas, you in Georgia. She was like, I think I want to go. I'm like, but allowing her that downtime, because even though she was in a training for NLP, it's a lot. Like mental work, me coming from a psychology field, that type of mental work, that's almost more than physical work. And then she comes back and she hits the ground running. We're working on a rental property right now. And when she left the rental property, it looked the same. Like she left and they was working on the house. When she came back, she was like, Kim, I thought they were. And I'm like, oh, it looked different to me. And she hit they had done some work, in my opinion. But my point for saying all that is, like, my personal thing is reading books, taking bubble baths. We worked hard for us to get the tub that I have now. Shout out to my former agent, Selena Williams, who helped us get into the house we live in now. Specific to having my big jet bubble bath, my big jet tub. I live for it. Allowing yourself some grace and take a break. Like, you can't be all to everybody at all times. Like, we're mothers 24/7. We're spouses 24/7. I have to turn up because somebody always wants it. Candace's phone goes off 24/7. My phone is constantly going off too. I love all of my clients. I love all of my friends. I love all the people who want me to mentor them. I love all the people who want to take me out because they know I love champagne and pick my brain. Everybody, all of my mom friends. But I have to take a break and disconnect. And I also allow myself some grace when I feel pressured to be like, I just can't do it. And Candace did the same thing because she flew back to Vegas and went to a UFC fight and then came back in like 3 days. Like, who flies to Vegas and back in 3 days?
It was great.
Right.
And I just want to say, and that's the power of NLP as well. So for me to even take that time to say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this fight because it's something I've been wanting to do, Lord knows, forever. I had some limiting decisions and beliefs about myself that wouldn't allow me to do that had I not gone through the training or had my breakthrough, you know. So again, credit to NLP and the body of work to allow me to say, I'm gonna do what I deserve, which is to take this time. Because I mean, Glenn, you know me, like I work, I go. And it's like taking time for myself is something I don't do very often. So shout out to NLP again for and that body of work to allow me to release the negative decision or beliefs about myself to make that trip happen.
You know, it's so necessary. Like you know, I was challenged in that area. You know, you hear everybody talk about grinding. You got to grind, and you know, don't sleep and all this other stuff. I'm like, you know, first of all, I had to check myself. Like, dude, you almost 50. Like, yo, sleep is what you do. You know, I was reading something where, you know, because for me, you know, I work, you know, sometimes late nights and like I'll take a nap in the evening and I wake up in the middle of the night and get up, start working, and then I'm back up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I get upset with myself because I get sleepy around 11 o'clock. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've been up all night long and I woke up early this morning. So I had to allow myself the grace, like you said. Yeah. If it's necessary for me to take a nap during the day,
take a nap.
What you gotta do.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, you know, before I'm like, no, I'm not gonna take no nap. I ain't got time for that. I gotta work. Yeah. Nah, listen, a nap is my friend now.
Right? And that's part of the miseducation. Yeah. I feel like that's part of the misinformation and miseducation on the internet. That's why people burn themselves out. Because that whole you sleep when you die, that's stupid. I mean, there's no way to say, don't do that. Don't do that. Like nobody who would ever mentor under anybody who I'd ever mentor or coach, I would never say, oh girl, you know, sleep when you die, grind 24/7. I have self-proclaimed a boss. Like that's my whole tagline. But this boss right here, not only do she sleep at night, she take naps. I ain't got no problem with taking a nap. I might take a nap when when this show is over and Olivia go home. It's a high possibility I'm gonna take a nap. You know, and I'm still when I wake up, I'm still a boss. That didn't change anything.
Right. Listen, if you take a nap, who gonna fire you?
Exactly. That part.
And again, that's some of the beliefs. So back to the NLP, and I just want to always map across how much NLP we use and how we don't even know. Some of us don't even know that we're using it. True. Because even the program, like my grandmother, me growing up, all she used to say is, "Go to work. You'll sleep when you die." Like Kim just said that her opinion on that. Like that's all my grandmother said. Like installing at a young age. I was probably about 7 when I first remember hearing her say that. And she was an entrepreneur. She was a hairdresser. She had her own shop added on to the house, blah, blah, blah. And her whole thing is you sleep when you die. So keep going. So again, releasing that, it's like, okay, yeah, you can have a moment to chill.
Yeah, some people could say you sleep when you die, but it's likely that if you don't get no sleep, you will die.
A lot sooner than you're supposed to, right?
Exactly.
That's the other caveat to all of that, right? So,
or you work yourself to death. You don't want to work yourself to death either.
Nah, look.
Hey, take care of yourself.
We get it. Like, you know, I'm probably a few years older than y'all, but we both got little kids that we got to be around here for a long time to come. It. So yeah, that grind, I leave that to them young folks.
Right, we'll hire the young folks to grind.
Like I tell them, like my daddy used to tell me, keep on living.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Heard that a time or two.
Yeah.
The goal is to get old.
Right.
That's it. Old and in good health.
Right. I think my mom and dad both say that. My mom's notorious.
Definitely gonna take a nap.
So I say definitely go take a nap. We had somebody else that said great ideas and insights into real estate investment. Something I look forward to. Sometimes a little push. I mean, such discussion open our thoughts to greater investment plans and ideas. Here in Uganda, East Africa. Shout out to Uganda, East Africa for watching this show today. That's what I'm talking about. One last thing I want to get into. I want to ask you all before we jump off.
Yeah.
What is your take on the current market? What do you think is going on? You know, I was reading in a Facebook group the other day. Like, people are still talking about a crash. One person even said that it's going to be worse than it was in 2008. I find that interesting. But tell me, what's your thoughts on where we are now, and where do you think we're going to be?
So I've been one of the podcasts that was recently recommended to me. I'm not an Apple user, but it's technically an Apple podcast, I guess. And it's called.
You're breaking up. You said you're not an Apple user.
It was a.
Yeah, she scooted and looked like, you can't hear me now.
Right.
Break it up.
No, yeah, that's a good one.
I'm sorry.
It's a 5 a.m. podcast. And
that's why she's not on now.
Right. Yeah. I get the recording. It is 5 a.m. Eastern time. So if you all, it's focused a little bit more toward realtors, but recently they had an interesting discussion on the market. And what I found in the 5 minutes, I think they do like 5 minutes at 5 a.m. or something like that. Is one of the things I learned, or one of the things I took from it, is as a realtor, stop saying the market is crazy. So as an investor, stop saying the market is crazy. Why would you want to describe something that you're interested in, invested in, or passionate about and call it crazy? The market is interesting right now.
Absolutely.
The market is having some dynamic changes. The market is doing something phenomenal good, phenomenal bad. Don't matter which way you look at it, right?
Right.
That's good.
My main thing with the market right now is Glenn travels a lot. Put your damn seatbelt on, put the chest strap on, put the around your waist. And if you in it for the ride, then just hold on and let the market do what it's gonna do. You can't. I mean, this ain't Nostradamus type stuff, right? Like you can't. There's predictions to a certain extent, and even predictions. There's so many counter theories to every prediction.
Definitely.
I mean, you would run yourself crazy trying to predict. Oh, we're going to war. We're not going to war. The gas, the oil, the coal, the this, the that. How's that going to impact real estate? I mean, there are some things that we do know. There's going to be an impact on resources. There's going to be an impact made on materials. Anytime the stock market makes a move, the real estate industry makes a move as well. So there are certain things that you can follow for you to decide as a real estate investor or just somebody interested in real estate what that might mean for you. But I feel like for Candace and I in our business, we have a strong faith in God. So we're going to keep on believing. We're going to believe, like, we didn't come this far to turn back now. Like, I don't want to do Glenn's 30 seconds of preaching, but we didn't come this far to turn back. And you know, like they say, he's gonna put more on you than you can bear type thing. So real estate is, people are what we're passionate about. Real estate is what we're passionate about. We're gonna ride the wave, whatever that may be. I mean, we're not gonna be out here, you know, like I say, caught with your pants down or nothing like that. But I'm also not gonna build a bomb shelter and fill it full of food either. Like, that's not the way that we live. So I feel like if you do some research, educate yourself, and don't be so scared. Don't let fear dictate your next move. All of my investor clients, man, they be killing me sometimes. I'll be like, you got to take the risk. You're going to lose sometime. You're going to leave some money on the table sometime. You're going to have a negative balance sometime. You're going to walk away from the closing table with no damn money. But you're going to also walk away from the closing table with 5 figures. It's got to balance itself out.
Nevertheless, you're going to walk away.
Right.
You'll still be allowed to walk away.
That's true.
It's like to me, I look at the market like this. You know, yes, we've experienced the fall and we've experienced the growth. I look at it like, if you tell a little child, don't take your next step because you're going to fall.
Oh, yeah.
Don't take that next step because you're going to fall. Yeah. But how about, if you take the next step, you might learn how to take the following one after that. And you might learn how to take the following one after that. You might fall, but then guess what? You have the ability to get back up.
That's it.
Right. That's it. I look at this market situation. People have been predicting a crash for the last, we'll call it 5-6 years.
Easy.
And in my opinion, You know, and then you have people saying, "Oh, I'm going to wait till the market crashes and then I'll buy." And I say, "Okay, keep on waiting."
Yeah.
Right.
Keep sitting on the sideline.
Exactly. And you see what happened. You know, people were like, "Oh, COVID is when the market is really going to crash." Prices damn near doubled.
Yeah, easy, like that, like quickly.
You know, and I'm of the theory that I've heard many moons ago. Don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait. If you buy it right, if people follow the old adage is that you make your money when you buy.
Yep.
If you buy it right, even if it's overpriced, depending on where you're buying at,
right.
If you buy it right, you will always make money on it.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? If you weigh out what, you know, people are looking at interest rates going up, all these different things, but inflation is happening. Inflation is happening. Inflation is at an all-time high, 40-year high. That means rent is going up.
Yeah.
Gas is going up. Meat's going up. Milk is going up. All these different things are going up. So the expectation is that things are going to continue to go up. And what's in that wave of things that's going up? Real estate.
Yeah.
You know, and like she said, this is not a Nostradamus thing. It's not some, you know, like people look at things as from a political perspective. My politics begin and end at my front door.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what my economy is. Now, I'm not oblivious to gas being $4. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's going to be $4. But guess what? That just means I got to pay more money.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you need gas. You gotta
And
need
who says I can't make more money?
Right. It's plenty out there to be made.
That's actually something that Candace and I learned from one of our mentors that we had. And I'm sure he's going to watch the show. His main thing, when we were talking about what we don't have, when we were working with him, I don't have this, I don't have that. And he was like,
yes.
You need to make more money. That's it. Like, there's no, I don't have enough money, go make some more. I mean,
Absolutely.
we used to hang up the phone from him from having some of our coaching calls and be like, he just said we need to make more money.
Right.
Like, what? You need to get out. Like, I'd be like, well, Candace, you need to get out there and go make some more money. Like, you just gotta, you gotta find a way to make more money.
Yeah.
Just like in Robert Kiyosaki's book, he said when somebody says that they can't afford it, their brain turns off.
Yeah.
Because they haven't thought about the creative ways that they can afford it.
That's
right. Now, I jokingly say certain things I can't afford, and I'm just talking about things that people buy that I consider not investments. I can't afford, not from the financial, but from the mindset perspective of going to pay $300 for a pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, I can't feed those to my son. Yeah. And I'm thinking of what the value of those will be if I wear them. What will they be in the next 3 to 5 years? Right. And secondly, what is it that I have invested in that will pay for those sneakers? I look at the stocks of Nike are less than some of the shoes that they have.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why don't I buy more stock and get the dividends from Nike and let them pay for the shoes for me?
That works. Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Love the critical thinking. Love the critical thinking.
Absolutely. Listen, this has been awesome.
Always a pleasure.
Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. I know that you all offer mentoring as well. Is it okay to say that?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
I want to make sure, you know, I'm reading my dialogue, so I want to make sure.
Definitely.
So how can folks get in contact with you, and how can you help them, you know, once they reach out to you?
So we can probably, I guess, drop some information in the chat. But as you all see, B2 Property Solutions on all platforms. Well, B2 Property Solutions on Facebook, B2 Buys Houses on Instagram. I'm Kimberly Briggs. I'm the boss lady. So mine is Boss Lady Briggs Real Estate, but my Instagram is just Miss Briggs Realtor. I was just like, wait, what's my Instagram? Miss Briggs Realtor. So MRS Briggs Realtor. That's my Instagram. But right now, my regular Facebook, Kimberly Miller Briggs, that's where I've been doing all my stuff. That is my personal page, but I mean, it's everything about me is real estate related in some capacity. I ain't gonna have nothing on there besides Olivia, Candace, my parents, my brother, nephews, aunts, sister-in-law, all of them people. So just family and real estate. So if you are looking to connect in any kind of way, if I can help you as a realtor, If I can help you just as a woman investor, Candace the same way. Candace has the extra NLP master practitioner. She's also a coach.
I was just gonna say, so yeah, definitely.
I know you're a master, but I didn't know you was a coach too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So yes, so I am, and I don't have all the social media aspect to it right now. However, if you are interested in Coach Ace, I am here and I am available for mindset, performance, for breakthrough, and just to help you to become the better version of you. Just send me a DM on my Facebook page or
Glenn. He knows how to find us.
Yeah. But yeah, send a
of
message.
course, I can definitely find you.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they'll find me before I find you.
Right. I mean, we'll end up on the same street in the same Kroger.
That's
I'm
it.
sure.
Right. On the same neighborhood or subdivision.
Right.
That's it. So most definitely, if you're interested in coaching from a NLP standpoint and a mindset and performance standpoint, please send me a DM or PM or whatever y'all call it in the Facebook realm.
Like old lady.
Just whatever it is, just reach out to me, hit me up on Facebook, and I'll make sure to connect.
Listen, awesome. And I want to say one major thing. I love to see the growth in the both of you. Okay. From the time we were first on the show, y'all were nervous, so y'all made me nervous.
I was sweating. I was super nervous. I was like, oh, we got the cameras, got the lights.
Right. But listen, I love the growth. I love that you all have made it to where you are and the consistency in doing what you do. And that's a major component for us being able to say that we've reached a level to say that we're successful. It's not about, the accolades and all the money that we make. It's about the consistency. It's about being able to take those licks and keep on ticking is what I consider success to be. And you are the epitome of that. And I applaud you for your efforts and your continuous growth. Keep on doing it. Keep on inspiring. You're an inspiration to me.
Thank you, man.
Thank you all very much. And,
Glenn, we would be remiss in not even shouting you out because, like you said, we've been watching you, and I was tickled this morning because y'all just don't know. 2 years ago, Glenn was doing all of this. It wasn't fancy like this.
Right.
Glenn texted me this morning and said somebody from my team will send you an email. I said,
okay. Hey, you better tell him.
I'm serious. I'm like, look at your growth. He didn't wrap the car. He didn't change from just black and white. We got a little camouflage now. Right. So just like you said, you are like a brother to us. We appreciate your just presence in our life, even like you being on the same page with us with our faith and spirituality. I mean, that keeps us going. And and just your family, your wife, the little man, everybody, like, thank you so much for even pouring into us, even when you don't realize you're pouring into us. We look at your stuff all the time. And I mean, sometimes everything happens for a reason. And sometimes the stuff that you post when you were doing them little Monday mindsets, that right there, sometimes that was all I needed. That little 10-12 minutes.
Wow. And, I got to get back to that because so many people have said the same thing, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I made a post just a couple of days ago saying about to whom much is given, much is required. And, we have to realize that the things that we do on a daily basis, especially posting on social media, we never know who's watching.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We never know whose lives are being changed as a result of what we display. So, thank you for being examples. Thank you all for being examples.
Thank you.
And I certainly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And I'm going to reach out to you about this Detroit trip. Let's get it. Your team.
Definitely. Let's make it happen.
Thanks everybody for joining.
No, thank you.
Thank y'all very much. All right. So that has been the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we bring you real life real estate solutions. Thank y'all for watching. I look forward to seeing y'all soon.